Hey climbers, Brent here. Are you ready to write your best songs ever? Are you ready to take that next step in your songwriting journey? Well, I want to help you with that. Listening to the C.L.I.M.B podcast is a great way to get started on your songwriting journey and to learn the basics about the art, the craft, and the business of songwriting. But eventually, you're probably going to need the personal touch. You're probably going to need some one-on-one feedback, some advice, and some help reaching your songwriting goals. And that's what I want to help do for you. I want to help you write your best songs ever. And I want to help you learn the art, the craft, and the business of songwriting, of how to turn pro in your mind and in your behavior before you ever turn pro on paper. Before you ever have the awards to hang on the wall, I want to give you the mindsets and the skills to earn that stuff. And so we'll dive into your questions and I'll give you honest answers. And I can help repair your song if it's already written but has a couple bugs and has some opportunities to get better. Or we can help prepare your song if you have an idea, a notion, a title. We can do your own private song title challenge if you want. If you want to get ready for a co-write, if you have a meeting coming up and you want to get your stuff locked down where it's the best it can be, I'm happy to help you do that as well. You can see my calendar, get all the details, and actually book a session at songwritingpro.com/coaching. That is songwritingpro.com/coaching. Now, if you're still not sure if a coaching session with me is the right thing for you, let's listen to what this climber had to say about their session.
This review is for anyone who is on the fence about booking a session with Brent Baxter. I have done several one-on-one coaching sessions via Skype and also completed an online class that Brent hosted a few months ago. I have nothing but great things to say about both of these experiences. I am a physician and a hospital administrator. Music and songwriting are two of my favorite hobbies and have been for many years. But as a hobbyist and someone who spends a great deal of time at work and in my career, it can be difficult to concentrate on something completely unrelated, or for that matter to devote the tremendous time and energy that is required to see decent results. Brent is a true professional who can quickly orient himself to what you want and what you need and be that perfect lyric writing partner that you otherwise would not be able to find. I tried writing with other amateurs online in the past, but it never went anywhere. Having the insight and experience of a professional, someone who has dedicated his career to the development of his craft, really makes a difference. If you do your part after he does his, I guarantee you will be happy that you spent the money and the time, and you will be hooked.
All right, welcome to another Song Title Challenge, where the question is, songwriters, indie artists, how would you write this one? It doesn't matter what genre you're in, whether it's country, rap, rock, pop, it's all up for grabs. This is a creative exercise where climbers send in their song titles to info@daredevilproduction.com. Production is singular. There is no S. info@daredevilproduction.com and put Song Title Challenge in the subject line. I keep them and spring them live to Brent on the air so he doesn't see them in advance. So it's just a quick creative exercise where we mimic what happens in the first 15 minutes of a pro write. So we take the title, and before we begin just writing the most obvious course we could go with the lyrics, we try to cook up maybe 4 or 5 different conceptual approaches to the song, because maybe there's a better, more clever, more interesting way, more compelling way to approach writing the lyrics. So for those of you who are posting song titles in Brent's groups, don't do that. Send them to info@daredevilproduction.com, because then he sees them and it doesn't really work that well.
I know. I posted a call for hey, send me your song title challenges and email them to Johnny at info@daredevilproduction.com. And then some people start putting song titles in the comments. I'm like, boom, 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 cover my eyes. Like, don't put them in the, you gotta put them big, like all capital letters. Don't put them in the comments. Send them to the email so I don't see them. There we go.
So it's an absolutely fun, creative exercise. It'll help you revitalize your hook book. Some old titles that have maybe the blooms come off the rose. They're a little tarnished because you just haven't thought about them and it feels like the energy's out of them. If you spend 15 minutes trying to find different angles for that title, you might just bump that title, that old title, right back up to the top of the list on your next co-write, or turn it into a song if you're kind of self-contained. But it's not a co-write, so you don't owe us anything except for we want a ticket and an invitation to the number one party, right? That's all we ask for.
Take me to the number one party.
Yes. Anything else you want to add to that, brother?
Man, that's it. Just want to encourage you to dig deeper on your titles and look at it from a bunch of different angles and then roll with the best one.
Okay, so you ready for today's?
Never. But go ahead.
All right, so this is from Jay Goolsby.
Jay Goolsby. Okay.
That's just a letter J. I'm not sure what his first name is, but.
Oh, Oh,
The
I
song
know who it
title is Airplane Mode.
Oh, dude, I've already written that. I wrote that last year. So,
Oh, really?
I don't know if I want to. Oh, yeah. I wrote that with Mark Narmore. And
I love Mark.
yeah, he's great. And we wrote the crap out of it. So sorry, Jason.
What was the gist of it?
So, okay, it was, let me just pull it up here and I'll share a little bit of the lyric with you and show you what it did do. So it was one that just, I don't know.
This is the first time that's happened, by the way. We're like, I already wrote that.
Yeah, like there have been a few, like I think I got something like that on my list, but this one was like, oh, I sure wrote that last year. And I'll pull it up here. The title hit me, Airplane Mode. I'm like, there's something there, So kind of wrote this kind of little R&B country kind of soul thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, the phone keeps buzzing. It don't ever stop. So much about nothing. I try to chase it all. But the news and the noise gets locked outside your door because your kiss is the getaway trip I've been desperate for. So starting off talking about, the phone going off, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a function on your phone. You turn it airplane mode because when you go on airplanes, they don't want it sending or receiving any signals, right? So you put on airplane mode so somehow it doesn't crash the plane. I don't know how that works. You think terrorists been sneaking on the planes with phones and turning their phones on and it crashed. Anyway, so it's airplane mode, but other people do it sometimes and it's basically do not disturb.
Yeah.
It's not sending or receiving data. So this is what it starts off talking about. My phone's blowing up. But the news and the noise gets locked outside your door because your kiss is the getaway trip. So airplane, I've been desperate for. And the chorus is, girl, you got me in airplane mode, pulling down the shade, shutting down the phone. Just want to be alone with you tonight, getting lost in your sky blue eyes, first class on a mile-high flight, and leaving this crazy old world down below. Girl, you got me in airplane mode.
Wow.
So it's not literal, but it's basically I'm shutting the world out.
That's right. Mile High Flight is
And
a
you got
dangerous
me
flight,
high.
by the way. It's only 5,000 feet, right?
True. Yeah. It's metaphorical. It's metaphorical here. It's all metaphorical.
You're going to hit something.
Yeah. So anyway, but got airplane, you put the double meaning on the shade because you got your little window shade on your airplane window, but then again, pulling down the shades because stuff about to happen, shutting down the phone, airplane mode, and also I want to be alone with this girl and her sky blue eyes and leaving the crazy old world down below because basically you got me high, like high on love. So that's what we do. And next verse, now I can't even tell you what got me wound up so tight, like a baggage carousel going around in my mind. With my head on your pillow, my head's up in the clouds. Here with you, I'm over the moon. I ain't coming down. Girl, you got me in airplane mode. That's what we did with it. So a lovey, lovey song about basically when I'm with you, it shuts the whole world out and you got me flying, girl, because you all kissy.
I love it. Okay, well, let's move on to Plan B.
Let's move on to Plan B. So I wrote that with Mark Normore back in 2019. When did we write that? We like it, and we still need to demo it. So back in September. So sorry, Jason.
All right.
Oh, you're welcome. I don't know. I mean, there are probably other ways you could write that too, and that may be interesting why we didn't write it other ways. Maybe we should dive into that.
You want to?
Why didn't I write it other ways? Okay. Why don't we just look at that? Girl, you got me. So we wrote it first person to the girl.
Mm-hmm.
You got me in airplane mode. It's first person. It's love. It's groove R&B kind of, country soul kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Which is Mark Narmore. Like he does that.
Yeah, man, he's Muscle Shoals.
Yeah.
He wrote, that's what I love about Sunday. He wrote Moon Over Georgia for Shenandoah back in the day. He's had several cuts and hits and stuff. He's just great. But yeah, he's blues, he's Muscle Shoals, he's piano. He plays guitar too, but he's also like a piano player and got this big, deep, high Mark Narmore.
Yeah.
He's a big old galoot that's lovable.
Yeah.
He's awesome. And so I brought that idea in, and I already woodshedded the idea to go, okay, how do we frame this? And so airplane mode, I want it to be, it's kind of both literal and metaphorical. Because I'm literally turning off my phone because I don't want anything to disturb my time with you, girl.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's hitting on a couple things because you got the metaphor of airplane mode being you got me flying, like emotionally flying.
Mm-hmm.
And then literally you got me turning off my phone because I don't want anything to disrupt my flight with you. So that's the way we decided to go commercially because me singing to you is more personal. It's more impactful. The girl wants to hear Billy Currington or whoever might sing this thing singing you got me in airplane mode. And like, yes, I do, Billy. Versus her hearing she got me in airplane mode. And she's like, I hate that girl.
Yeah.
Right? More personal to hear
yeah.
me singing to you because especially when I'm telling you sweet things.
Yeah.
I'm singing in your ear, right? I mean, up in your earbuds. And so that's why we made that choice. The groove R&B thing, we looked at some different vibes and stuff. And the title Airplane Mode, it feels like it could definitely go, it's a little dangerous title. Like it feels like it could be cheesy, right? If it's not presented and served up correctly. Like you could definitely go a little more novelty and cheesy, and we didn't want to do that. So it felt like it wasn't too much of a tempo thing because it's such a lovey kind of thing. Like let's go with the groove, the soul, where it's not a ballad. I mean, it's kind of a ballad, but it's got groove, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like an old R&B kind of
So it's like a tempo ballad. It's like a mid-tempo thing-ish, mid-tempo-ish?
kind of thing, yeah, slow mid.
Okay.
It's a groove thing, you know? Yeah. And so we felt that was the best way to serve up that idea. We felt like if we got more tempo, it would just could be kind of cheesy and silly. We go silly. Like, how do we make it where it's not as silly? Because it's borderline silly title, Airplane Mode. Okay, how do you make that cool? That was kind of our task on that. How do we make that cool? Because it could be silly. And let's see, a lot of imagery in there. And we're right into the title. So Airplane Mode, okay. All these talks about the phone keeps buzzing. It don't ever stop. So much about nothing. I try to chase it all. Like, how many of us can relate to that? Yeah. You got the image right in the first line, phone keeps buzzing. It don't ever stop. Yeah, man, that's true. I can see it. I can hear it. So much about nothing. I try to chase it. So it's setting up I'm on information overload. Yep. You know, but the news and the noise gets locked outside your door. I'm like, oh, I'm bringing in the girl. Because your kiss is a getaway trip I've been desperate for. So you're like, oh, you're getting the love. Okay, it's a love song to you. And setting up the airplane trip. It's a getaway trip. You're setting up the airplane thing. So we set up the phone, and now we're setting up the airplane. So when you go, girl, you got me in airplane mode, you've already set up the two pieces. You've set up the airplane part with getaway trip, and you've set up the phone aspect of airplane mode with that whole first verse. And that it's a love thing. And then we got pulling down the shade, shutting down the phone, just in case you didn't get it. Like, okay, here's your, idiot proof. I'm shutting down the phone, airplane mode. And pulling down the shade with that double meaning on the making out or literal airplane kind of thing. I just want to be alone with you, which explains the airplane mode. I just want to be alone, getting lost in your sky blue eyes. So we put some of that double meaning in there, sky blue eyes with the flight and emotional stuff. First class on a mile high flight. We all know about the Mile High Club, the kind of thing. So it's playing off that. And first class, like this is first class, girl. Like you're first class. Right. So it's complimentary and leaving this crazy old world down below because he's emotionally flying with her. He's emotionally high. And this crazy world, which speaks back to that first verse about the phone keeps buzzing, a bunch about nothing. I try to chase it, shut all that stuff off, leave that crazy world down below. Girl, you got me in airplane mode. So that's how we set that up. So right at that title. And then the second verse is, now I can't even tell you what had me wound up so tight, like a baggage carousel going round in my mind. So we're still keeping on the airplane, airport kind of theme, but also the thing about just too much information, too much stuff getting y'all wound up. You're stuck in your phone, emails and everything coming in. And now he's like, I'm just so chill with you. I don't even remember what had me wound up so tight. Yeah. We were thinking of like wound up, like we're going round and round, like a baggage carousel. And it's baggage, right? It's emotional baggage. So we're playing on all these different levels. Like, yeah, it's a picture of a baggage carousel. It's on theme with our airplane thing. Right? And it's just going round and round like a baggage carousel. And baggage, we think of emotional baggage and all that stuff. He's offloading all that stuff. So, like, these lines are playing on several different angles. Very cool. But they're all aimed at the theme, right? And that's strong lyric writing. And, yes, it is. So aim for that kind of stuff because it could have just been, I don't even know what had me wound up so tight. Okay, which makes sense. But that next line takes it up to another level going, oh my gosh, you brought in the baggage carousel and the baggage, meaning of that and going around like a baggage carousel. And it's an image and it's on theme and it progresses a story because first verse, he was all wound up about stuff. Now that he's with her, he's chorused with her, but the us and chorus. Now he's like, oh yeah, man, I'm good, and it says with my head on your pillow, my head's up in the clouds. So it kind of paints a picture of where they are now. And so it's playing off pillow and clouds, both soft and pillow. You can almost kind of see them. Clouds are often described as pillowy. Exactly. Big pillow clouds or pillow as soft as a cloud, that kind of stuff. So it makes sense. Like, oh, okay, this is like writing itself almost, or at least it seems that way. We had to put in the work, but it seems like, oh, well, that all makes sense. Yeah, with my head on your pillow, my head's up in the clouds. And so you're playing off those things again. Here with you, I'm over the moon. And I ain't coming down. So again, playing with the flight stuff, and you got me in airplane mode. So that's what we did with that one. That's not our usual song title challenge, but
I like this one.
That's why we made the
cool.
choices we have. Yeah, a little.
I think it was cool that we stuck with that and just sort of broke down the lines that you wrote with Mark and why you guys decided to write them that way.
Yeah.
And the imagery that you used and how every single word or thought is intentional.
Matters,
important.
and
Right.
is.
There's nothing vague. There's nothing benign.
And hopefully nothing wasted.
Yeah.
Hopefully all killer, no filler. Everything speaks to that theme of airplane mode, and plays off of phone, flying, love. Every line in there is playing off something in there to strengthen that title. So it's not just, we just slapped this title on this generic love song. No, you take away that title, the song doesn't make sense. Like, it's all pointing at that title. It's all supporting some aspect of our theme, which is, I just want to be alone with you and shut out this crazy old world, and I feel like I'm flying. So it's important that you think about every one of these lines going down.
Yeah, how are they working?
Yeah. It gives your song a thing. It's not just a
title.
I'm in love with you song.
Yeah.
And it's not, hey, I'm hanging out with you, riding the back roads, and we're having a good time, so I'm in airplane mode. We're like, yeah, but you don't build in all the flying stuff and the shut out the crazy world. It brings more to the title and gives more of a unique flavor because of this mix of what we have going on based on that title. And that was a title first song. I mean, I thought of the title, I was like, that's interesting. Yeah. And the wheel started turning. It makes it more interesting and it makes it more unique when everything's pointing as that theme with those kind of parameters of flying, airplane, phone stuff. So
there you go. Well, if somebody wants to do a private song title challenge with you and go through the exercise, or maybe want to write with you, like,
yeah, I do private consultation. Also do coach writing. With the consultation, you may bring in a song that we prepare or repair. And I may be like, okay, in the second verse, I think you need to take this kind of path kind of thing. With coach writing, I go, okay, well, let's see what the actual words are, and actually write it with you. So you can set up for either one of those. Also do just song feedback. So you email in and I email you a response to them, that kind of thing. You can get all the details at songwritingpro.com/coaching. That is songwritingpro.com/coaching. And I just want to help you write your best songs, get you where you want to go. It's also a Q&A time. So any questions you have about the business, the art, the craft, songwriting, anything's fair game to ask me. And it's my time to serve and help you out however I can.
There you go, guys. All right, this brings us to the end of another killer mini-series episode of Song Title Challenge. Once again, send your titles in to info@daredevilproduction.com and put Song Title Challenge in the subject line so it gets into the right folder, and we'll cycle through them and might just pitch one right live on the podcast to Brent.
That's right.
This podcast exists because we want you to win, so keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.
Song Title Challenge.